From offensive miscues to just not hitting the baseball. That was one of the saddest games of baseball I've ever seen. The two teams combined to have 9 or 10 hits today, depending on how you scored it, because one of them I scored as an error, but the single scorer, I believe, scored as a base hit. Here is the Houston page. Wow, that looks a lot better than it has in the past. And here is the Seattle page. Be able to go ahead and see that now. A second. That's the Seattle page. You can pause to look at it. But the Mariners didn't strike out 10 times. I don't think we struck out 10 times. No, 8 times for us, 8 times for them. We walked 3 times. They walked twice. They had 6 hits. We had 4 for 10. I have it at 9 because I had the Altuve hit as the reached on error on Polanco. Um, JP, man, JP and Josh Rojas had 2 hits, but they're 1 hit between the two of them in 8 plate appearances. Didn't get on base any other time. Struck out once each. It was just, and they were the top two in the order. Julio got on base once via the walk. Had a couple of hard hit balls that were bad luck. Cal didn't get on base. Carver got on base once with a walk, but struck out in all of his at bats. Polanco had one of the dumbest errors I've ever seen. He just sort of dropped the baseball. Baseball, glove, ground. Ty France didn't ground into a double play, and I actually still think that the one ball that he hit that the umpire ruled foul, I thought it was fair in real time, but I don't think you can challenge fair or foul. He struck out. Luke Raley didn't strike out. He walked once. And Robles had 2 hits and struck out once, which it was a clutch time to strike out. I didn't like that, but the fact that he had 2 of our 4 hits and the other one came from Rojas and Polanco. Rojas has been playing really well. Polanco just isn't, is one of those things that you gotta worry about. And the Mariners didn't have a hit after the 5th inning. And in fact, that was just a bunt base hit from Robles, which Robles looks really good. There's no reason for him to be in the 9. He should probably be leading off. JP definitely shouldn't be leading off. We've got a lot of problems with JP. I don't know how to fix it. I don't know what Scott can do to make things better, but making some moves is definitely going to be a thing at the deadline. I just saw a report on MLB.com that Vladdy Jr. might be available as the Blue Jays may be willing to listen to offers for players with team control. That would be really good. Now, this was a really sad game of baseball because neither offense looked well. Houston had one good inning. It was the third, where they scored all of their runs. Brown was 8-6 with 4.14 ERA. Castillo went 7 innings, only gave up 3 runs. Struck out 3, Brown struck out 5. That's a weird thing with our pitchers. A lot of them don't get a lot of strikeouts. Like Snyder came in for an inning and struck out everybody he faced. Sauce struck out 2, 5 strikeouts from our bullpen, 1, 3 from the starter. That's really weird. We left 6 on base because we had walks in there. We went 0 for 4 rather than scoring position. They went 1 for 5, maybe 2 for 5. It really depends on how you scored it. Runners in scoring position, and they left 5 on base. Those 6 runners we left on base. I mean, 3 of them, it's a tie game in the ninth. Ninth can change up a little bit. Problem was the way that the ninth ended up going, where we just sort of go up and JP's up there. Or no, JP's up there in the eighth. Flies out to center fielder. Rojas flies out to the center fielder. And then Julio popped out. That was actually a good one. And then Hader came in. Cal grounded out. Mitch struck out looking. And then Polanco lined out to the left fielder, which the issue I had there was the Mitch one. Cal had a decent at bat. The problem was he missed a middle fastball that he should have hit. That was a big problem for us all night. Middle fastballs. We had a ton of them off Brown and a few off Hader. We just didn't hit. That's Hader's 19th save of the season. I actually believe he's 19 consecutive saves because he was coming. Yeah, he is. It's 19 consecutive saves. He was coming in on a 18 save streak. So yeah, good luck for the Mariners. What can we do to improve? We stopped striking out, but we didn't get on base. lot. You gotta get on base. You gotta get on base. Nobody didn't bring anybody home. Only had six base runners, seven base runners, six base runners today. Not a winning recipe. That's one in the end of the second inning. No, the end of the third inning. We'd had at the end of the top of the third inning. We were coming up on our eighth plate appearance. They had had 15. So if we had gone 1, 2, 3 in the third inning, we would have had 11 plate appearances to their 15. And what actually happened was we went F7, one single, F8, single, walk, L4. So we had seven plate appearances going in, and then we had one, six. So 6 plus 7 is 13. So they still had more plate appearances than us. We had six people with four plate appearances. They had eight. Those extra plate appearances happen when you get base runners and when you score runs. And even if we'd been striking out, it would have been even worse. But thankfully, we only struck out 8 times. uh, It's difficult for me to believe that only striking out 8 times is good. The Okay, so when I look at the division standings, it's weird because of the way that the record is right now. The Houston Astros have a 51-46 record for 526 winning percentage. 6-4 in their last 10, win streak of 1. They've scored 460 runs, allowed 408 plus 52. Their Pythagorean win-loss puts them at 54-43, so where they should be. 28 and 21, blah blah blah. Next game's tomorrow at Seattle. The Seattle Mariners are 52-47. Now, what you'll notice is that the Astros have one fewer win than us, and we have one more loss than them. We have a 52.5% winning percentage, 4-6 in our last 10, and we've lost four. We've actually 5 or 6 times, the last 5 or 6 times we've had the bases loaded, we've scored no runs. We've had plus 16 run differential. The Angels are actually minus 97. We're 2.5 games back in the wild card. So 52 plus 47 is 99. You'd know that from the title. 51 plus 46 is 97. So they have 2 games in hand on us. They have 2 games in hand on us, meaning because they have 2 games in hand on us, they have the division lead because of the winning percentage. Now, this is going to come down to probably the final series of the season in Houston. Pretty sure we play in Houston then schedule, team by team schedule. It's either Houston or Texas on like next year's schedule. I'm gonna go through the schedule for next year, either tomorrow or the next day, regular season schedule. So this is probably gonna come down to, so we have 6 straight division games, then we play the White Sox and the Red Sox away to end the month. Then we go versus Philly, versus Detroit, versus the Mets, then at Detroit, at Pittsburgh, at the Dodgers. Fine. Versus the Giants for three, I'm sorry, versus the Rays for 3. Then we go at the Angels, big division series, at the Angels, at the Athletics, at St. Louis. Weird that we didn't do at St. Louis before at weird that didn't happen. Then we have 2 games against the Padres and 4 games against the Rangers and 3 against the Yankees. But here's where it gets interesting. From September 20th to the 29th, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 games in 10 days. And that's 3 against Texas, 3 against Houston, and 3 at home against the Athletics. That last road series against Houston is going to be huge. Because what's going to happen is we're going to know what's going to happen, what we need to do. Do we need to win against Oakland? Is it okay if we lose against Oakland? Can we set the rotation for a wild card series, or do we have to put the rotation in a way that makes it set up so that we have to beat Oakland? Do we read slot rotation? Do we pull somebody up? And it's all going to depend on what happens those 3 games against Houston, unless we go on a huge um, losing streak, which we've already lost for a 40% winning percentage in the last 10. I don't like that, but every team goes through streaks. Every team goes through streaks. That blowing a 10-game lead feels very Mets. Remember when they blew a 7-game lead in 17 days? Yeah, it's gonna not be. It's gonna get interesting.